We are live. Let's play. We'll get started. Welcome, everyone, to a new episode of the Women Empowerment Series. The Women Empowerment Series is a platform where I invite incredible women from around the world who are sharing their story, who are inspiring through the work they do and their journey. And I'm so honored and delighted to have you with me, Gupta. Welcome, my dear.
Thank you so much, Hynd. I'm so grateful to be here, and I'm so excited and happy to be here.
Me
Wonderful
too.
talking to you.
All these women, all these incredible stories, all the incredible leaders. And the beautiful part of it all is that we are so different, yet we are so similar
Mhm.
in our love for, inspiring, motivating, and sharing. And I think your journey speaks so much about that. So I want you to go back and tell us, how do you calling yourself today an inner peace coach, and you are an inner peace coach. But when I go back, I am so impressed with your background, D. You were in one of the most competitive
I
like,
was.
schools in India. And how do you find your way when you start in science and engineering and technology? So tell me your story, and how did it all start for you?
Sure, yeah. So I was born in an Indian family. Like I'm Indian. I was born in an Indian family, and in India, you do whatever it takes to either become an engineer or a doctor. So I
Yes.
didn't think, like, I was like, okay, I love math and I love bio. I could go both ways, and I decided to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
so you had that debate whether to go doctor or engineer.
Yeah, I had, like, for a year I was thinking about, like, which path should I choose. And the reason I chose engineering is because I didn't want to study so much.
No, yeah, because doctors, it's a lot of years. That's so
It's a
true.
lot of years.
Oh,
So
like the
and
same everywhere, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
So then I ended up going to IIT Delhi, which is, like, one of the good colleges in India, and it was
One of
very,
the most
very
competitive. Are you kidding me? In the world.
right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, very, very intense kind of thing. And it was fun. Like, it was great, and I was happy at that time. But I didn't even do computer science at that time.
No?
It
Okay.
didn't matter because, like, from campus, I wanted to do computer science, like, software engineering, but
Uh-huh.
I knew that it didn't matter. So when I didn't work for a single day in chemical engineering. I basically got selected straight up into a software job, and then I moved to US and I started working for Microsoft, and I was like, this is my dream. I'm never going to leave this ever
Wait,
in
it's a
my
dream
life.
for every young one. Oh my God, of course it is. But wait, so when you were at school, how many girls were there? Were you very few, or did it start to be
Yeah.
actually half half?
No, 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 nowhere close. It was 22 girls out of 450 people.
Wow. That's even less than, actually, even for us, it was the same,
Oh, yeah.
It was always one or two, maybe three in the classroom of 40 or something.
Right.
My
Yeah, exactly. So many times I'd be the only person, and people were so
know that
awkward
feeling.
around girls that, like, if I would sit on one thing, the whole bench would be empty.
Yeah, really.
They were so
Funny.
awkward around
Because they
girls.
wouldn't sit by your side because you're the girl. Oh,
I'm the
that's
girl. Yeah, exactly.
incredible. Yeah, I used to sit in the front also. I'm
Yeah.
like, so that's an interesting feeling because, I don't think we talk about it a lot, but in science we are so few. Now it's better. Now there are more girls in some
Yeah.
areas, but I was in engineering in very early 90s. So
Mhm.
that time very, very few girls, and it's a long time ago.
Right. Yeah.
And so you joined Microsoft, which is a dream job.
Yeah, it was like, I'm not leaving here until I die. Like, I'm leaving here in my grave. I love it. I was just so happy. It was my dream.
Mhm.
And within 6 months, I started to realize something is wrong. And I was like, I'm not feeling as fulfilled as I thought I would be. And
So
it
soon. So
so
6 months.
soon. But I
Wow.
didn't, but it took me 10 years to finally leave it. So I
Yeah.
worked in India for a few years before I came here. So total, I had, like, about 15 years of software experience. But, like, I tried different things. I tried different roles. I tried different companies. I was like, maybe it's just Microsoft is too big. So I tried a smaller company, and I just
Right.
it was the same thing everywhere, you know that saying, wherever you go, there you are.
Yes, yes, I know. Yeah.
It was like, okay, I couldn't, I mean, it wasn't right for me.
Wow.
So I jumped off that train, like that plane with, and I built a parachute on the way down. Like I just jumped off and I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to survive. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I am done.
It takes so much courage to do that. I wonder let us know where you're joining us from as you connect in so that we can greet you. And if you have a question, because this conversation is just fascinating. Because when you have the most comfortable job and the
Mhm.
most, looked after, right, by all the youth, and then
Right.
you're like, no, I don't want it.
I hated it. I was so miserable. I would go into meeting rooms and I'd be like, everybody's excited and they're talking about like whiteboarding stuff and like,
Yeah.
this goes here, this goes there. I'm like, I wish I could bring myself to care. I just don't care. I want to care, but I don't care.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I would sit in the car for 15 minutes in the morning before getting out of the car, just willing myself to get out of the car to go into the workplace from in the parking lot. It
Really.
was so bad.
And this lasted for how long? Hi, Mariam. I can see people greeting us. Hello, it's good to see you here. How long did it last?
It was pretty much from after the first 6 months till 10 years of trying
Wow.
different things. But
But
yeah.
how did you manage to keep yourself and you keep your sanity and keep going to the office?
Oh yeah, that was that took, I just didn't feel like I had any other option.
Yes,
And
trapped basically.
trapped.
Yes.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I just had to, there was nothing else I could do. I was just there.
Yeah.
Um, and my ex-husband at the time also, he was like, yeah, you need to
You
work.
can do, yeah, you
Yeah,
need to
don't.
work. Like,
Yeah,
and this is interesting what you're saying this because a lot of women feel that, right? A lot
right,
of women feel trapped in a situation that they hate, they don't like the job, they don't like the feeling, yet there is no way out and they
right.
feel and they stay.
Mhm.
But yeah, and you did that for a little bit. But what is it that triggers you? There's, I think, somebody is saying things. Take love, T. You have some love coming in for you.
Oh, thank you.
so, so how did you decide? What was the triggering moment?
It was, I'd had enough. Like it was just a moment that I was like, okay, this is not working anymore. I can't do it. I have to
Mm.
figure something out. I'll put myself in the situation. I'll burn, I mean, I didn't burn bridges like that, but I was like, I'm just going to leave and figure it out on the way out.
Did you put some money aside so that you're like, okay, I'm not gonna worry about it, or you just make the this? You woke up one day, I'm like, this is it. This is the day. I'm moving. How
It
did you?
was, this is the day. I'm very last minute. Like I don't plan things for two, like even in general.
Mhm.
I have some things that I plan, but like very, very spontaneous. Even when I'm going on vacation, I'm very spontaneous. That's my personality. So I was
Oh,
like,
that's nice. I like that.
yeah, I don't want to plan stuff as much as possible. I want to be surprised because I feel claustrophobic when I plan too much.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, I like to, yeah,
So you feel free.
I
So
feel
basically,
free. Yeah.
yeah. So basically, you took your freedom. That's
I
what you
took
did.
I took my time freedom. I gave up I exchanged, I traded my financial freedom for time freedom.
Yeah.
And I've
But
never
that's
looked.
temporary because you can bring financial freedom and you're on the way to do that, right?
Exactly. That's precisely it. Like I've been investing in myself so much over the last like many years, 6 years since I left my job.
Mhm.
And um
This is a
yeah,
good thing, not planning everything. Yeah. So
right.
D is a real example because you gotta be bold and
Mhm.
have so much courage to be able to do that. And I salute you for that. I was writing this to you. I mean, I think your story is such an inspiration more than you can ever think because a lot of women feel stuck in
Mhm.
jobs because the end of the month comes very fast, too fast to think about what is the alternative. And so you stay completely stuck in a box, even if you don't like it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
So
it
when
was
you
a big thing
Mhm.
for me because I left my husband at that time, and then 1 year later I left my job, and then
so
my
there's a
friend
lot
broke
of
up with
tension.
me,
Um,
and it was like I had my first and so far only panic attack at that time.
oh,
I was
yeah.
like, but it
I'm
was,
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was okay. I
You
mean, it
kind of
was,
knew it, right?
yeah, yeah, it was like
Mhm.
everything changed all at once, but it was beyond worth it because the amount of growth I've had over the last 6 years, I would not have had in 50 lifetimes. If my husband was a perfect person,
Wow.
if I'd liked my job, I wouldn't have had this growth over 50 lifetimes that I've had over the last 6 years.
Wow.
It's just been incredible. Like every day, I'm like, oh my God, my life just shifted 1 degree. And then when your life shifts 1 degree, 10 years later, where are you, right? Like you're at a totally different place.
Completely.
Yeah,
And it's like, and you know, we always say that this is not, you don't change in that minute, but you change your path, you change your
the
journey,
direction.
you change where you're going.
Yeah,
Mm. Yeah. Here's, yeah, and this is a good, well said. This kind of stories inspire women to jump into our freedom. And we often do not allow ourselves to do that because we're so scared of things.
yeah, yeah. And
Fear.
and fear is a very real thing, but like, I mean, we over give to fear. We're like, right, it's like, okay,
Mhm.
I mean, it's okay to say, I see you, fear, I can feel your presence,
Mhm.
and I'm not listening to you. I mean, and it's a shift as well. It took me years to get to that place where I could actually feel that happening. Like I could feel the fear, and I'm like, okay, I'm choosing something else, and I'm not letting you control me. And
Mm.
it just changes how you be in life. It changes that little shift in energy. It's like a very tiny little shift, but
Yeah.
it changes the entire course of your life. Like when you do things like that.
Incredible. So it needed one decision to trigger it all so that you can shift somewhere else.
Mhm.
So is that how you started as an inner peace coach, or was it in the making before you left Microsoft?
Oh no, it was this happened. I didn't even know life coaching existed. I'd never heard the phrase before. I had no idea like this whole personal
Wow.
growth existed. I was all alone, like completely like
Um,
feeling like there
yeah.
was nobody. And then somebody mentioned Tony Robbins, and I did all of his seminars. Like I did
Good.
every single one of his seminars. And then somebody mentioned somebody introduced me to Harvecker, and I did all of his seminars.
Okay.
And I yeah, so just I
So
started
you
my
start developing your understanding of
yeah.
what self-development, and it probably helped you yourself to strengthen up, right?
Oh, big time. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's where my journey started. That's when I started to find my tribe, and I started to find, and then my Facebook feed now is filled with people that are just incredible, including you. Like it's just
Oh,
so good, the group that we're in. Like it's just, I pinch myself sometimes. I'm like, how is it even possible for me to find so many people that I absolutely love and admire and just,
oh, I love that. Oh,
yeah.
expression of well. So here's another comment here. Fear can save us sometimes, you know, but here's it's a question of well calculating its next steps. How would
Right.
you answer to that, D?
Yeah, so fear is necessary, absolutely. Like if you are seeing a lion in front of you, you want to figure out
You
how
got
to
it.
solve it. It's just that the fear has become, it's taken over our, it's not needed. Most of the time, it's not needed. I would say 90, whatever, 99% of the time, it's not
You can
real.
overcome it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not real. Yeah, very true. It's amplified.
It's
So
ampli
true.
yeah, it's not real. It's meant to keep us safe. It's the century of the mind that's meant to keep us safe and meant to keep us small. And I don't really know why God put that us into us, but it's there. And
Yeah,
so the thing that our job is to work past that and work through that
absolutely.
and identify the 1% of the fear that is real, right?
Mhm.
Like I mean, but
And
understand,
tackle it and
tackle it.
understand why it's coming from. Mm.
Right, right. And
And
then
mhm.
and many times it's just really not real. Like I mean, I've seen it in relationships as well. I'm like, I want to run from this relationship. I mean, because what if this guy is using me, and what if this guy is like, taking advantage of me or whatever. And I'm
Mm.
like seeing that, I'm like, okay, I see you, fear, but I'm going to dive in. I'm going to put my entire heart and soul into this,
Mm.
and I'll be okay at the end of the day. I know I'll be okay no matter what happens.
Oh yes. And you know what's interesting is that always say that if you want to you want to be a leader and lead yourself to whatever direction and path and dream goal you want to create, you want to bring into your life, you got to
Right,
have courage. Leadership is
right,
fueled with the courage, and the courage is not needed if there is no fear. So
right,
if there is fear, you
right,
grab the courage.
right.
That's it.
Absolutely.
So if the fear is there, it means like, hey, this is the time you need to get your courage, and you
Mhm,
grab the courage
mhm.
and you take it and you step up to whatever direction you want to go.
Right, and the act of choosing that courage
Yeah.
changes the thing. Like so the Newton's law or whatever, right? Or maybe it was Einstein, whatever. The act of observing something changes the observer,
Right. Yes,
right?
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like that. So in relationships, just because I choose to trust the person becomes more trustworthy. like just automatically. If because people respond to how you expect, what you expect of them. So if you are not trusting somebody, if you're expecting them to take advantage of you, then the likelihood is much higher that they will.
That's
And
right.
so
Yeah. So whatever
it's
you think about, you go into mirror it and see it
right.
happening in your
So,
life.
and that's true for everything. That's true for the whatever project that you're picking up on. Like if you expect good things, it's the law of attraction 101, right?
Yes, exactly. Excellent.
Yeah.
That's nice. So I would love to hear more about now your focus and what does it mean inner peace coach and how you help people with their, emotional regulation, with their connections. What are the main aspects that you work on?
Okay. So what I feel is that we have grown up in an environment where it is looked down on. Like I've to have to we okay. So the path to it is through self acceptance.
Uh-huh.
So acceptance of all of our emotions, acceptance of all of our thoughts, acceptance of where we are, acceptance of our circumstances.
Okay.
And so what we have been grown up to believe is that if we're having negative, what people consider negative emotions, like jealousy, is that's the hardest for anybody to accept within themselves, that I'm feeling jealous about this thing right
Mm.
now. Or
Mhm.
anger is the next one, I think, that if
Mhm.
we're feeling anger or any negative emotion, anything that we consider negative emotion, then we
Mhm.
start to judge ourselves and we start to criticize ourselves.
Mm.
So what I
And yeah,
believe,
like said, we're angry at ourselves. We don't like, we hate ourselves for those
right,
emotions. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Sadness, I think, is coming up into, like, people are starting to accept it more, but
Mhm.
jealousy, especially, and then anger are just emotions that we really, really do not want to. Like, we're above all of this. We don't feel this kind of stuff.
Mm.
So that, I think, is the root cause of this turmoil that we feel inside of us.
Okay.
So the thing that I work with people on is going down this path. So the reason we do that is because, so I'll give an example of,
Mhm.
let's say we are with someone and somebody is feeling pain,
Okay.
then we feel pain as well, like when we're empathetic. But the reason we're feeling pain is not because they're feeling pain, or, I mean, it's not as positive as we might think. The reason we're feeling pain, um no, okay, sorry.
Because
We're
we want to be empathic to them, so we kind of really
right,
connect with them.
but what
Mhm.
we want to do is we want to go into fixing mode so that they stop feeling the pain. So
Okay.
now, so that's where, like, if we so we want to parent them, and we don't, the reason we want to do that is because we don't want to feel the pain we're feeling because of the pain they're feeling.
Right.
So
Mm.
if we go into this mode where we're not parenting them and
Mhm.
we let them feel whatever pain they're feeling, and we're
Mhm.
just there with them, we're sitting with them,
Mhm.
and we're not bothered, like, we're not upset by their pain, or we're not trying to fix it, or we're not trying to take over,
To
we're
do
not,
anything about it, we're just there. Yeah.
we're just existing there with them, and we're holding their hand, but we're there.
Mhm.
So that is like going, shifting from parenting them into being a friend, into being
Mhm.
an empathetic person. So this is exactly how it is with ourselves. Now I'm going to shift that to ourselves. So
Mhm.
if there's a part of me that's feeling jealous of someone, then
Mhm.
the other parts of me wants to immediately fix that.
Mhm.
So the way to work through that is to not try to immediately fix that, the
Mhm.
jealousy, but just sit with that. Sit with
Yes.
whatever pain that I'm feeling. Sit
Mhm.
with whatever. So there is a reason for the jealousy, right? It's not, the jealousy is a feeling that covers shame.
Mhm.
So the jealousy comes from shame. I should have done more and I have not done more.
Yeah.
So if
Mhm.
we can just sit with that pain, because shame is very, very painful and it's intense. So if we
Mhm.
can sit with the underlying feeling, we can go with the jealousy and we're like, okay, where is the shame here? What is the underlying emotion? And we
Mhm.
can go to that, and we can allow ourselves to just be with that emotion and sit with that emotion and accept it, completely
Yes.
accept it. Then we work through it so much faster and we release it from our bodies, because otherwise it just gets trapped within us, like
Yeah.
it gets buried within us, and it comes out stronger the next time. So
Mm.
the
Because
more,
it's not healed, because it's not processed, because you
right,
just kind of ignored it and we just packed it
right,
down.
and you criticized it and you beat down on it, and then it's like, but I'm here. I want to be seen. I want to be visible. Like, can you please let me out? And we're like, no, no,
No.
you need to be shut
Yeah.
up. You don't exist. I don't believe you exist. You're not a part of me.
Yeah.
I am a part of you,
Yeah.
and that's
So feelings are part of us. Feelings are
right.
part of our lives. And I think what you're saying so well is that we need to honor our emotions so that they get processed. Because if we ignore them, or more worse, we beat ourselves up for even feeling those emotions,
Right.
we lock them down and it stays there and it gets triggered each
And
time there's something
it gets
that
bigger,
reminds. Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
over time, every time we're doing that, and the
Mhm.
worse we're feeling about it, the bigger it gets. And then the next time it happens, the bigger it gets again. And then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And then we start to find ourselves feeling like really constricted, like we're not good enough people. We start to all of these feelings of unworthiness, unlovability. It's like, because I know I have all this jealousy and anger, and now I don't feel like I'm good enough, and now I don't feel like, and then it goes into a spiral, because now I don't even have the courage to keep trying or to do something else. So
Mm.
it just creates such a long term effect on
Mhm.
that. Whereas if in that moment we can just truly, 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 truly accept everything that we're feeling,
Mhm.
then we release it so fast. It's like surprising even how quick things change around you, because you've released that, and just immediately you get this fresh burst of energy. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, where did that come from? And
Right.
it's because you've not just released this moment, you've released the past also along with it.
Yes.
And you're
And you
starting
are freed
you're
from it.
you're freed from it. And
Yes.
yeah, and then you start to feel yourself lovable, like, okay, it's okay that I have jealousy, it's okay that I have anger. And
Mhm.
now the question becomes like not about not having these emotions, but how to manage them so that I'm not imposing them on other people, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
how to manage them in a healthy way so that I'm not hurting other people in the process, but
Yes. I
I'm
like that. Right.
yeah.
So you like focus on yourself, focus on making yourself healed so
Right.
that you can become a better human for yourself and for others.
For others, yes.
Absolutely. Because
Right.
that's how you create relationship. It start by creating your own relationship.
Yeah.
Where are you from? You have a lot of people asking, where are you from, Dee?
Oh, I'm
Are
from
you,
India.
are you in Seattle now? Where are
I'm
you
in
based?
Seattle. Yes,
You're
I'm in
Seattle.
US.
That's
Yes.
why it's the sun, because now it's the morning for you.
Yes, it is. It's 10:22 a.m. right now.
Is it sunny?
It is
Warm?
sunny outside. Yes.
Is it
It's
warm?
summer in Seattle, so it's
It's
sunny
summer
here.
already? How come
Yeah.
it's summer? Ah, early. It starts early.
Yeah, well, yeah, it started to become hot right now, so it's
Really?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
We are, it's spring for us here, but it's warmer spring. Today
Mhm.
it's raining actually,
Oh, cool.
which is nice, different,
Mhm.
but it's gonna start getting hot as well.
Mhm.
That's nice. You know what? How nice. This is amazing. We connect from everywhere.
Right.
And that's why I'm like, because I usually don't have those lives this hour, much earlier, but
Mhm.
and I'm so happy to be able to connect with so far away. It's amazing.
Yeah, me
So,
too.
me too. So you're now. How do you consider yourself? You've been a scientist and engineer, so very structured mind, and now you're going into this inner peace. Is this spirituality? Is this closer to this? Where do you fit in the range between the science and the pragmatism and the logic and this? Or where do you locate yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I consider myself very like a brain-based, rather like
Yes, of course you are, because you've been, of course you are.
yeah, like I
With
love math all my entire life. Like I have a very logical
you're like
engineering brain,
math. Yeah, they're like numbers. Yeah,
numbers
I
and
know that. That's why we communicate easily. We
right.
speak engineer to engineer. We understand that.
So even my personal growth stuff in the beginning, especially, I would just be go very brain based, and I would be like, this is logic and it fits, and I still do that. Like I still have that part of me, but I guess I've been developing the more um,
Emotional side.
intuitive, yeah, emotional, intuitive, like accepting, again, accepting of the emotions, and
Mhm.
of being aware of them and being aware of my intuition and like trusting, just that part of it. So yeah, it's been a journey, but like I have both in me. I actually love that because
I'm sure, yeah. And that's what's fun about being women and the way we are and the way we function, even within the engineering sphere and the scientific sphere. I think intuition has always been there forever. I mean,
oh
did
yeah.
you feel that when you were growing up? Is this something like where you feel like you're coming home to something that you know, or is it just like new?
um I would say it was so the intuition thing. I always felt that I had a good
Mhm,
sense of intuition, like to
mhm,
read the room or to read
mm,
read people. I felt like I was pretty good at that, but
mhm,
it still required a lot of work, and it's probably going to be there for the rest of my life, like developing this intuition.
mhm.
But yeah, it was. I guess it was a bit of both. It was a part of it, a part of me knew that and had that, and a part of me, but I never thought about it, right? Intuition was just something like, okay, I just happen to have it, and it's not something that I didn't know you could develop it. I didn't know that you could work on it, like that kind of stuff.
Mhm,
It's just like, okay, I have a little bit, like I have something more
mhm.
than maybe the average person, but like that's fine.
That's it. Just something that I know, you
Yeah,
know.
something that I
Yeah.
happen to know, I happen to be born with. I have a gift of
Uh,
that,
uh, uh,
but like now it's deepened a lot more, and now
yes.
it's gone
Mhm.
into,
And
yeah,
this is what you use now.
this is
For
what I use now,
life.
absolutely.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to people, the thing that I do is my style is to listen.
Mhm,
So I will listen to the person, and I will feel into what response I'm getting, and then I will give advice based on that, based on um, what I feel I'm getting. But like I'm very, very good at listening to
I'm
people and
sure you are.
in
Yeah.
picking up on things, picking up
Mhm.
on what's going on underneath what the words are.
Okay. Like a
Yeah.
deeper reality.
Uh,
What's really inside, what we hide, we don't say. We say
right.
without saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and many times it's not that we're not saying because we don't want to say. Many times it's we're not aware of what's going on underneath, and
Of course. Of
we're just
course.
we're just living out our patterns, and we don't really. But then, yeah, I've worked on this so much that I know the pattern, so I'm like, okay, I recognize that. And,
Amazing. That's
right.
wonderful. And so this is your new journey, and how is it going? Like what would you what how do you what advice will you give today to someone who wants to find the inner peace? Because we all that's what we want, isn't it? Like what
Right.
would be something that you could share that is really valuable
Okay.
in your life?
The I would say the biggest advice I would give is um, find the ways that work for you for self-acceptance. Like
Mhm,
it's easy to say accept yourself for everything, but it's not always easy to get to the place.
mhm,
So find different ways. There are many different ways in which you can go about it, but
mhm.
look for and search for the way that works for you. And once you get to self-acceptance, that's inner peace. Basically, they're kind of synonymous. So it's all about accepting everything about your life, just everything, no matter where you are, no matter how unfair it feels, no matter, like, I mean, you might feel like this is not where I'm supposed to be, and everybody around me is like somewhere else, and it's not fair, or I don't want to put in another one of the big things is I don't want to put in this much work. Why do I have to put in this much work when other people don't have to? But the fact is that everybody has to, and the more you raise yourself, the more you do it. So yes, find ways that work for you for accepting everything around you.
I love
And
that. This is such a powerful advice. And once you accept everything about you, then you suddenly will feel the calmness because you have nothing to worry about. You are proud of who you are who you are, and it is what it is. And you just accept it and move on to
right,
build whatever you want to create in your life. Yeah.
right.
This is amazing, and you are a representation of this through your experience, through your journey. And congratulations for the work you do, for for being such an amazing representation of how for women that want to free themselves from the work, the job that they don't like, but yet they keep themselves stuck because they don't know and they're scared for otherwise.
Mm,
Thank you, Dee, for your
thank you
for
so
joining us.
much.
Thank you, everyone, for being with us, Miriam, Lilia, all the ladies. It's so nice to have you. If you're watching us on replay, let us know. I love to, so we can go back to watch the comments. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.